Morning. Today I'm meal prepping breakfast burritos, quick and delicious recipes. One is a cheese omelet, and the second one is a Desi omelet with sweet pepper. Starting off with the cheesy omelet, these are the ingredients needed. Number one is milk, any kind of tortilla bread. Some good high quality butter is next. Any cheese of your choosing. Here I have mozzarella cheese, and then the last one is eggs. And these are the ingredients needed for this simple cheese omelet. Here I'm putting aside the cheese, butter, and tortillas because we will need them later. And all we need right now is the milk, eggs, and some bowls. In each bowl, I'm going to be cracking 2 eggs, which is about 14 grams of protein. And after I do that, I'm going to go ahead and grab my milk. And here I'm just eyeballing it. It's just a random estimate. The more milk you put in a bowl, the more fluffy the omelet will be. So just be aware of that. That happens later with one of the omelets. And then next, you're going to just go ahead and beat them with a fork. Make sure that the egg is nice and mixed with the milk. Lighting up the pan and making sure the pan is on low heat, and then I'm taking out the butter. A mistake I made here is not putting enough butter. Make sure you're putting enough butter on the pan. It helps the egg from not sticking to the pan. Just beware. And here is a lid that I use to help with the overall cooking of the egg that I found from another pan. In the other pan I'm going to start heating up my tortillas and making sure that they're fully cooked. While that happens, the butter is melting in the next pan. Right now, I'm just moving around the butter. Make sure you're getting the butter in all of the corners. Here, I missed all the corners, and that does not help with the egg and flipping of the egg. I'm putting my first round of the cheesy omelet in the pan, and yes, it's supposed to be that color, this like light yellow. And here I'm just putting the lid on to help it with the overall cooking. The steam will help it cook a little bit better. And when you see all these little bubbles on the tortilla, it means it's ready to be flipped. I'm just flipping it with my hands, taking a spatula and just making sure I'm getting all of the corners, the center, and letting it naturally brown. Just checking our egg. Sometimes it does have these bubbles. It's totally normal. This tortilla is ready because it's all brown. Just transferring it to a separate plate. Starting off with the next tortilla, and our egg is ready. And how you know it's ready is on the top layer of the egg there is less solids. When you're flipping this, before you're flipping this, make sure you go through make sure you go around the whole of the egg, so it's not stuck to the pan. And that's what I'm doing here. I'm just going all around before I flip it. And here we go, flip. That was not bad of a flip, and it's not as stuck, thank goodness. And I'm just pressing it down, and hopefully I'm adjusting the heat. If you need to adjust the heat, do that as needed. The tortilla I just took off the pan and closed the heat, and putting more butter on this round of eggs because I became kind of scared that the egg was going to get stuck, and that's exactly what happened with this one. Just make sure you move the butter all around the corners, especially the corners. This is my second batch for the cheesy egg. Here's what I forgot for this egg previously is I forgot to add the cheese. I know. I readjusted the heat to just a little bit lower, putting my mozzarella cheese in here because it is a cheesy omelet. I'm just eyeballing this as much as you want. I had this burrito this morning, the frozen one that I put in the freezer because these are meal prep burritos. And here's what I realized is it tastes better fresh. So if you're making this fresh and you're serving it, go ahead and do that. It tastes the best. But if you're in a pinch or you don't have time, just meal prep like I'm doing in this video. It does taste good still. Go ahead and microwave it for about 2 minutes, and then I pan heated it. These are the finished tortillas. This is the finished or the ready omelet, ready to be flipped. This omelet is a little bit more whiter or less yellow is because it has more milk. If you like it like that, that's totally fine. And look at this. I'm struggling because it's not yet. It's going to happen soon. It's going to get so stuck to the pan that it doesn't look pretty, but we're okay for right now. And this is exactly how the color you want it. If you don't want it like that, just flip it a little bit earlier. And here, this is what I'm struggling. It is so stuck to this pan, but it's okay. I'm going to be eating all these, and I'm okay with a little bit of it not looking perfect. It's all going to the same place. The next omelet, it is our Desi omelet with sweet pepper, and these are the ingredients. Number one is red chili powder, salt, cilantro, tortilla, sweet peppers, onions, eggs, and butter. And that's all the ingredients. Here I am putting in a strainer some of the 2 sweet peppers, 1 sweet pepper for each of the egg batches. We're making 2 omelets, and I'm just picking out some cilantro to wash for later. Again, I'm just eyeballing all these ingredients. It's just an estimate, and I'm going to go ahead and wash these. I've already cracked my eggs into 2 separate bowls because I'm making 2 omelets, and here my vegetables or my cilantro and my sweet pepper are washed. What I'm doing here with the cilantro is I am removing it from the stem. If you want to eat it with the stem, go for it. I don't like the texture of the stem in the omelets. I like it to be a little bit more of a smooth omelet. So I'm just removing the stem, the cilantro from the stem. And here is a mom hack that I learned from my own mom. You get a bunch of the cilantro and you use scissors to help you quickly cut them. So I'm doing that here. And it just makes things so much faster. If you're a lazy girl and you want to do this, go for it. I'm gonna be using the scissors also to cut the sweet pepper in just a little bit. So I'm using 1 sweet pepper for each omelet, and here I'm just using the scissors to cut off the top. I'm cutting it in half, and after I do that, I just cut it in the middle. And I open it a little bit more, and I just use the scissors to take out these seeds. And I'm just basically cleaning it out with the scissors. All those little seeds, I don't want to be putting them in the omelet. This is the second part of that 1 pepper. I'm opening it up, and I'm just going to be cutting out all of that stuff. And here's a little bit more of a close-up. It's just the faster way. If you prefer to use a knife, you go ahead and do that. This for me is faster, and I'm going to be using the scissors to overall cut the pepper anyway, so why not just use one thing for both. This is the second pepper, cutting off the top, cutting it in half, and then using the same method of cutting a little slit, cutting it all the way through, and then just cleaning it up with the pair of scissors. Once the pepper is nice and clean, just making some slits to make it even more easier for me to cut it into pieces, and I'm just cutting it in smaller pieces even more, just like I did with the cilantro. So here's it again, a demonstration, cutting it in more slits. I made 4 this time, if you can see. Here's a close-up. And then just closing it up and cutting it. This makes it really easy in the mornings and faster. And I'm just fast forwarding this clip on me cutting the rest of the pepper. 1 pepper for each omelet. And if you like more, this pepper is not sweet. However, it's still a pepper, so you want to wash your hands before you touch your face because it will irritate your eyes. It has happened to me before, so just be careful. This is the final look with the cilantro and the pepper. And now my onion, I've pre-cut. I freeze these. It's so more convenient. I am using a tablespoon of onions. You can put as much as you like, little as possible, none if you don't like onions, but I think it gives it a nice flavor. I'm using 1/4 teaspoon to put in my spices equally for both omelets, and same amount of salt. If you like more, adjust it as you like. This is the final look. And now you're just going to go ahead and beat the eggs. Make sure all the ingredients are mixed together, especially the red pepper. Sometimes it likes to bunch itself up. So make sure you're really mixing it thoroughly, and do that same for the next bowl. This is the final look. It should look like that. I am melting a lot of butter. Make sure you're putting it all over the edges. It should look something like this. Doesn't that look delicious? It is so good. One of my favorite omelets. It is ready to be flipped. And look how perfect that is. It didn't stick at all. Thank goodness. And just pressing it down. You do not have to put the lid back on. I realized it doesn't really matter. This is the final look of the Desi omelet with sweet pepper. And my mouth is watering as I am looking at this clip. It is so good. If you have not ever had a Desi omelet, please do try it. This is the final look of the cheesy omelet. And now I am prepping it for the freezer. So I'm using foil. You're going to go ahead and put a tortilla. Ideally, you want the side that is not as cooked because I like to heat them on the pan. Putting the omelet, this is the cheesy one, and I'm rolling it up. If you want to roll it up in a different way, go for it. I know individuals that use bigger tortillas so they can make it into an actual burrito size. That's totally fine. This tortilla is 150 calories. In total estimate, all of these omelets is about 310 calories and more, depending on the cheese and the milk. I did not calculate, but on average with the eggs and the tortilla, it's 310 calories, 14 grams of protein. Feel free to add an extra egg. Here I'm just rolling up all of these omelets, just prepping it for the freezer. I realized when I was doing this, I used way too much foil. I could have used less foil. This is the cheesy omelet, which I forgot to put the cheese in, so I'm just adding it now. So when I do heat it up in the microwave, what I do is heat it up in the microwave for about 2 minutes, or you can let it thaw in the fridge a night before, and then you can reheat it on the pan until the outside becomes a nice brown. I'm taking a Ziploc bag and just throwing in all of my 4 burritos so they can freeze and I can use it and eat them throughout the week. These are absolutely delicious recipes. If you have not tried them, please do give them a try. And I am flattening out my Ziploc bag. I know it's really big, but it's okay. I couldn't find the right size, but we use what we got and just putting it in the freezer right next to my other frozen goods, homemade. And there you have it. Thank you so much for watching this video. Hopefully you liked it. If you did, do hit the like button. And until next time.